Hi again, it's Jason from Fraser Valley Rose Farm. Today I want to talk to you about growing roses in a warmer climate than my own. Places like the tropics and subtropics, where you'll be dealing with much higher temperatures, higher humidity seasonally, maybe even monsoon, and no cold winter really to speak of. Now obviously I'm going to be talking a little bit outside of my comfort zone, or I guess you could say my climate zone in this, but the general conditions around dealing with heat, dealing with humidity, dealing with a lack of cold winter temperatures, those are things I can speak to, and I'll do so in this video here. We're going into a period now at my farm where the roses are starting to go into dormancy. Now it's October here, going into winter, and you can see, I'll put up some pictures of some roses that are putting up a good fight. They're trying to bloom straight through, but eventually they will give up and they'll do what smart roses do, which is ripen their fruit, let go of their leaves, and firm up their stems to last the winter. This, by the way, is the natural cycle for roses in general. Roses are a northern temperate climate shrub, meaning that they do have a built-in cycle of dormancy. It benefits them in a number of ways, one of which is that if you're in a climate that goes into a rest period, you don't have insect pressure and disease pressure carrying on all the way through the cycle. So at a certain point, everything goes dormant, the leaves drop, you can do a cleanup and get rid of those leaves so you don't overwinter those insects and pests, and then they spring back forth in the spring with renewed vigor and bloom really strongly. So I want to talk about some strategies of how you deal with a very different set of climate conditions. Hang tight for that. First, I want to talk about dealing with the intense heat and bright sunlight that comes with the hottest portion of your season. And really the goal here is to bring your plant through in good enough condition that it can rebound quickly in the cool season and bloom strongly. Some tips on that are to provide some shade. Now this comes with siting your rows. When you're planting your rows, think about the hottest portion of your season. If you can give your plant some midday shade, some afternoon shade, or even some high dappled shade, that will improve its condition over those hottest portions of the season. Next thing you want to talk about is water. You do need to water. I'm not saying frequently, but you do need to water deeply. That is, not just a spray of water on the top of the soil and think that's enough. You need to water for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, enough water to really soak the area and check. Do a little dig down beside your rows afterwards and see, has the water actually soaked down into the soil and provided enough moisture? Provide a mulch on top. That mulch will help to retain that moisture after the watering. You want to avoid also during this period stressful things that you can do to your rows. Things like pesticide application, heavy pruning, or heavy fertilizing, all of which can induce shock and stress in the plant if it's already stressed out by high temperatures. Save those activities for the colder shoulder seasons. Let's talk about the wet season. Now, whether you're in an area that just gets constantly high humidity, or a place like mine that gets seasonally high rainfall, or a full-on monsoon, our concerns are generally the same. It's just a matter of degree. In my area, when we go through the rainy season, I usually end up with a lot of black spot, a lot of foliar fungus on my plants. Usually end up with the flowers having some trouble opening if they're very fully petaled flowers, and I usually see a general decline in the condition of the plants just coming with them being constantly barraged by rain. So one thing I have to watch out for here, and obviously you'll have to watch for in your area, if you have high rainfall seasonally, you're going to look for drainage right away. You don't really, the roses will not tolerate a long period with their roots in standing water. So that's number one. Number two, you're going to aim your deadheading, your pruning, your stripping of leaves, all of that you're going to aim towards trying to get that foliar disease off your plant and trying to make it so that there's air circulation within the plant. So you're looking for that open vase shape that comes with pruning. So you have every stem has its own space and some room around it to dry off and air out so that the fungal diseases don't get such a foothold on your plant. Your plant, because you're getting such high levels of rainfall, there's going to be a general leaching of the soil. That is, if you put in any fertilizer, it's just going to leach away. So just be ready towards the end of your rainy season to buff up some of that fertility so that your roses can recover better from that. Now, as for managing fungus, yeah, you can try things like neem oil if the temperatures allow. You can try things like sulfur. Don't try sulfur in conjunction with any oil products. That's a warning for you. And you can try potassium bicarbonate or baking soda as a solution to these things. I talk about that a little bit in my black spot video. I have a formula for it there. In general, I don't go for the really hard chemicals. I usually try to hit it better with the cultural things like stripping the leaves, deadheading, and pruning for open air circulation. Usually will cover it for me. If you come to the end of your rainy season, a lot of foliage has dropped off, you may want to clean that out from the base of your plant and replace your mulch at that time. The lack of a cold season does pose a challenge for certain roses. I've done videos in the past year about the Alba roses and the centifolia roses, both old garden roses from Europe, and they do very poorly in tropical and subtropical areas, so you may want to avoid those ones. The roses that tend to do the very best are those that are closely related to the Asian roses, the China roses and the Indian roses that impart the repeat blooming to modern roses. They've been bred in pretty extensively, so you have a pretty good chance with most of the modern rose groups, things like Floribundas and hybrid teas, but certainly like tea noisettes and those. I'm going to go ahead and put in a section now where I give you some pictures and some recommendations of the names of roses. These are coming both from my experience of things that do well in warmer periods of the year, but also from those rose societies around the world where they've made recommendations.
Let's start with Belinda's Dream, a mid-pink shrub rose with a really nice scent. And here's Elina, a hybrid tea in soft yellow. Aloha, a climber with a really complicated color, sort of pink with tones of apricot mixed in. Don Juan in dark red and a punch you in the nose kind of damask fragrance. Beverly, also quite nicely scented and getting a reputation as a good performer in warmer climates. Julia Child, I love this mid-yellow color and it has licorice kind of scent. Cinco de Mayo with its wonderfully wavy petals. If you had a mind to try some of the old garden roses, you could try Old Blush, a China rose in pink that just about survives everything. Sombreuil and Grussenteplitz are other choices you could look at. All right, that's it for me today. Thanks for watching. If you can suggest any other roses that do well in warmer or more humid climates, you can leave those in the comments below. Again, thanks for watching.